Hey everybody, Mr. Movies 87 here, bringing you a new episode of Gaming Breakdown. And today we're talking about the Hoenn starters, Torchic, Treecko, and Mudkip. These three overall might be my personal favorite group amongst all the starters. All of them have many uses throughout the game, and they can all serve you extremely well through a playthrough. But let's go ahead and start with Torchic, my number two favorite. This is an FYI, slightly behind Mudkip there, but I'll go over him more in detail later. Torjid is your powerhouse of the amongst the trio, being I believe the second fastest behind Treecko, but being the most powerful physically. Starts out as being a pure fire type, evolves into Combustion at level 16, and then Blaziken at level 36. And he'll turn fire and fighting when he evolves into Combustion, and it'll stay the same for Blaziken there. Torchic and his evolution line will kill things very, very quickly with their arsenal of moves. Early on, they did a good variety of stuff. Ember, Pet, Double Kick, and Scratch are a good setup for a while. As he evolves further and further, he'll learn better moves like Blaze Kick and Sky Uppercut. Teach him Flamethrower later on. So he will destroy whatever is in front of him for the most part, really, throughout the game here. As far as the gym leaders go, he has a pretty decent setup against, well, most of the gym leaders in the Elite Four. I actually made a little handy-dandy notepad document here for a quick reference here as to what they're all good against here, so I don't have to sit here and be and try to remember each one here. So Torchic to start out with at Rodzan is okay. I say okay because Rodzan being a rock type gym leader, a rock beats fire, but by the time you get there, you should be close to getting combusted, if not, well, very, very close to it. And once he gets into evolves into fighting, he'll learn double kick, and then he'll be able to pretty much sweep the gym by himself there. If he was just Torchic, then he would have a little more trouble there, but yeah, get him to combustion, and he'll be fine there. Brawly's kind of for the most part. You'll have Peck by then, so just use that and you'll be fine. But besides that, it's kind of average matchup overall. Watson's I have here for decent as well. Mainly because he's electric type. Fire and electric don't really match that well. Against the Magnemites you'll fight in the gym though. Double kick beats them pretty easily, so there's that. If you have Dig, actually no, you can't have Dig by then, so never mind that. So yeah, nothing too strong against him or too weak, so he works well enough there. Flannery is also decent because, well, fire resists fire, obviously. And by then, I believe you'll have Dig, so teach out to him, then you'll have something to exploit her weakness for fire types. So that works well enough there. Norman's a good matchup for sure because, of course, fire beats normal. You'll have double kick. I don't think you'll have any other better fighting type moves besides double kick, though. I forget when Blaziken learns another fighting type move. It's not for, I don't think, long after Norman, unfortunately, but double kick works well enough there regardless. The next three here, actually, to kind of shorten things up a little bit. Winona, the flying type gym leader, Tate and Liza, the psychic gym leaders, and Wallace/Juan, the water gym leaders for 6, 7, and 8. They're all bad-ish. For Winona, yeah, of course, flying beats fighting, but if you're high enough level, then you can kind of just grind your way through and just use like strength or return or some neutral type move against them. She's not that bad. And then fire against her Stormery there. So that's overall. Tate and Liza are kind of bad as well because, of course, Psychic also beats fighting. But that's a double battle anyway, so your partner can kind of compensate for Blaziken there, so it's manageable. And then Wallace and Juan, water beats fire, but at that point you should be pretty high leveled anyway to just win with attrition for the most part. So yeah, a lot of these I have like and like meh and bad-ish for the most part because, I mean, for one thing, it's a Pokemon game. They're not really that hard anyway. If you're having trouble, just level up more, to be perfectly honest here. And as far as the Elite Four goes for the Torchic line, pretty decent overall. Good matchup for Sydney because fighting beats Dark, so you can pretty much sweep that gym no problem, really. Phoebe is because she's a Ghost type trainer. You can get away with using like any fire type moves, really like Blaze Kick or Flamethrower. That works well enough there. Glacier is a good matchup for the Torchic line because fire beats ice, obviously, so you should be able to sweep that pretty easily too. Drake is because of his dragon types there. Dragon resists fire, but again, he can kind of just get through on a battle of attrition there. And then Steve is a really good matchup for him because he loves his fancy steel types there, and fire beats steel. So for the most part, you should be able to sweep him pretty easily there. So yeah, overall, throughout the game, Torchic is very, very good and gets extremely powerful later on. yeah, like I said, different great moves like Blaze Kick, Sky Uppercut, Return, Earthquake, what have you. There's many more besides that, obviously. So he will be one of your main powerhouses on your team for sure. Moving on to Treecko, the Speedy starter here, the fastest amongst the three. Decent special attack, not so great on the physical attack, but it works well enough there. Evolves into Grovyle level 16 and Sceptile level 36 there. Oh yeah, by the way, I'll go over the Maid Evolutions in a little bit. I'm mainly focusing on just the base Ruby and Sapphire games. So yeah, just there's that. Yeah, Treecko is always pure grass type the entire way. Move wise, is he gets a little shafted on. Doesn't really learn anything that great. He'll learn Absorb later on for some HP draining there, which is always handy to have. Meta Drain and Data Drain are, of course, both useful there. But his main move, I believe at level 29, I think he learns it. He learns Leaf Blade, which is an extremely powerful grass type attack. There's a physical attack, so that runs off his lower-ish physical attack. But for Treecko, he needs that because it's pretty much their mainstay attack, really. But if you're playing Sapphire or Alpha Sapphire, Treecko is the best way to go, I think, because you'll be fighting Team Aqua through the most part, and of course they favor water types, and Treecko destroys them. As far as gym leader matchups go, not really all that good overall for Treecko, unfortunately. Great for Roxanne, for Brawly, meh for Watson, very bad for Flannery, kind of for Norman, really bad for Winona, decent for Tate and Liza, only because, well, Leaf Blade can beat their rock types. They use a Lunatone and Solar Rod, and they're part rock, so that works well enough there. Very useful for Wallace and Juan, being water types, so he can sweep that gym easily enough. The Elite Four is pretty bad overall, unfortunately. Yeah, for Sydney, because Grass and Dart are just kind of meh, really, so not really too much to worry about there, one way or the other. You will annihilate his Sharpedo, for one thing. Yeah, Phoebe's bad because Ghost resists grass, so you're kind of stuck there, sort of. Glacia's bad because Ice beats grass. Drake is because dragons and grass aren't really compatible. I think some of them also have flamethrower, so you're kind of screwed there. And then, yeah, Steven it does not work well at all either. Steel types resist grass, and they're just really damn powerful as is. So even though Treecko is, yeah, it's honestly a little bit bad for the most part against a lot of the gym leaders, he's still a really good Pokemon. And as far as I remember, grass types, I mean, they're not really few and far between, but there's just not really that many good ones available besides Treecko, at least to my knowledge. I could be wrong about that, so if anyone knows more for sure, let me know, of course. But yeah, he's still really good, of course. I personally do love him, so there's that. Anyway, moving on to Mudkip, my favorite starter amongst Gen 3, and one of my favorites overall, and probably the best amongst the three. Great stat balance all around. He is kind of your defensive tank of sorts. Well, actually, really more so than the other two, obviously. But yeah, good attack, good defense, pretty solid special attack as well. Not as good as Treecko or Tortured, I believe, but it's still solid nonetheless. A little on the slow side, of course, but you'll have that. He starts out being pure water, evolves into Marshtomp at level 16, and then Swampert at level 36, and then he'll turn Water Ground when he evolves into a Marshtomp and Swampert there. Many great move sets as well. All he really needs later on is a good ground type move and a water type move. Those two being Earthquake and Surf. That's really all you need there. Though also Ice Beam, of course, for the flying and dragon coverage there. And then some other good physical move like Strength or Return or what have you. So that's really all he needs there. Those three moves I mentioned earlier, and that's pretty much it. Because he has more than enough stats to back them up to one-shot pretty much anything, really. And as far as his gym leader matchups go, he has probably the best overall matchups against the gym leaders here. He, of course, destroys Roxanne. Brawly's a mad matchup because water and fighting aren't compatible. He destroys Watson and Flannery. With him being part ground by the time he reaches Watson, he's immune to electric attacks, and you should have much shot for him by then, so he'll sweep that gym easily. Flannery's a joke because water beats fire, ground beats fire, so lol, fight there. Norman's not too bad because, yeah, water and normal, so it's a battle of attrition, really. I'm using that phrase a lot lately, but I liked it. It's cool. Winona's a good matchup because you should have Ice Beam, I believe, by then. Let me think here. Yeah, you'll have Surf. You can go to the other. Excuse me. You can go over to the abandoned ship there and find that. So yeah, Ice Beam will destroy her, no problem. Surf on Star Marine also. Tayton Lies, he's great for because Surf will annihilate them, no problem. It'll also hit your double battle partner, but it's not a big deal really. Wallace and Wand I have for because, well, again, battle of attrition. Because water resists water, so you're going to have to use Earthquake or whatever. Although, I did a Mudkip solo run a while back and got up to Swampert there. Earthquake destroyed everything, so that was pretty easy. As far as the Elite Four goes, and also Steven, not too bad, but not too great overall, I will say. Sydney, Phoebe, and Glacier are all meh and eh. I have them listed here. Not too great of matchups overall, one way or the other. Just, well, spam Earthquake or Surf, whatever, and you'll be fine. But he annihilates Drake and Steven. Ice Beam on Drake will wipe out his entire team. And Steven, you can deal with either Ice Beam as needed, or Surf, or Earthquake, and you're pretty much fine there. As far as the Maid Evolutions go, of course, Maid Blaziken, Maid Treecko, not Maid Treecko, yeah, right. Maid Sceptile, and Maid Swampert there. They all keep their types the same, except for Sceptile. He turns into Grass Dragon, actually, which is a really cool combo. Makes him 4 times weak to Ice, though, so that can be a little bit bad, but that applies to X and Y and Sapphire, and Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby there. I think amongst the three, I think I like Maid Blaziken the most. He just looks the coolest. I mean, he's standing there balancing on one leg, which is just badass anyway, and also he destroys shit. But of course, all three of them are really, really good in their own right. But yeah, for my personal taste and my personal favorites, Mudkip is number 1, of course. And then Torchic being number 2, and then Treecko number 3. Okay, so that takes care of that, guys. So let me know which one of your starters is your favorite amongst the three. And that will do it for here. Next episode of Gaming Breakdown will be... I'm not sure what, actually. I need a new idea for that, but I'll figure it out later. And with that, guys, this has been Mr. Movies 87 signing off. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.